Ta-da! And back at you with another video, and welcome to another edition of Stop the Capping. I'm your host, Ahmad, and today's video is we have a political race for presidency here in the United States. Today is November 5th, and we are electing a new president. We have a vice president who is running for president, and we have a former president who is trying to run for re-election. He was once the president of the United States for four years, which is one term. And we have a vice president who's now running for president. She's African-American Miss descent. I believe she's Jamaican and maybe another race. But she's running for president of the United States. She is a female. She is the vice president right now. And she is running for the president of the United States, which she should be the 47th president of the United States if she makes it. So we have Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. So if you're watching this video, I'm recording live here from the dangerous city of Chicago, Illinois. It is a Midwest city in the United States. So wherever you are in the world, in the United States, and you're watching this video, welcome to the channel. Once again, my name is Ahmad, and my channel is called Stop the Capping. Now, you may say, why Stop the Capping? Because there's a lot of lying going on here in the media, social media, YouTube, Facebook. There's a lot of lying, a lot of propaganda, a lot of posting and videos of certain things and activities and events all over the world that are just not true. And someone needs to say, hey, stop the capping. Just stop lying and tell the facts as they are. I'm not a reactor. I just give you my point of view when it differs from what I've seen, heard, and know videos being shown. So we have two candidates running here in the United States for president. And it is November the 5th. It is election day. It is D-Day for both candidates. As the last time I checked, they're running pretty much 51 to 49%, 51% so far in favor of Kamala Harris and 49% in favor of Donald Trump. So as the race goes, the majority of the votes collected will win the presidency for the 47th president, which will be January the 20th. As far as I'm concerned, neither one of them represents issues and interests that I deem a necessity for myself and other individuals. Neither one of them are offering free health care. Neither one of them are offering free education. Neither one of them are removing tax from food and water, period. So those things, to me, are essential to the growth of the United States. And neither one of them are talking about that. They're both, one is talking about raising the standard of living for the middle class, but no one's talking about the man who's making under $40,000 and below. It's $30,000 and up. Here in the United States, if you're making between 40 and 50, maybe 60, you may be considered middle class. And if you're making more than that, you are definitely above middle class and or above. And if you're a two-parent home, both making over $60,000, you're above that average. And so the people that you see on the street sleeping, in the viaducts, in the tents, in the bus stops, in the shelters, in the fire departments in the wintertime, the homeless ones, those are the ones that are not getting counted in the shenanigans. Those are the ones that are being left behind. Also, now we have an immigrant problem. Neither one of them are really speaking on what they're going to do because they want those votes for those who are now able to vote, which is they want the Latino votes, both of them. Both of them want that Latino vote. Both of them want the Hispanic votes. So neither one of them is really speaking too highly of what they're going to do and not going to do. At one point in time, Trump was talking about putting up a wall to stop the Mexicans from coming over the border. And my thing is this, with the immigrant problem that we have here in the United States, I don't have a problem with letting immigrants come in. What I have a problem is you don't have anything in place for them. Okay? You're not prepared for them. You have your own homeless citizen living on the streets, and you bringing in another citizen who's trying to gain some type of leverage by leaving their country. That's not the issue. When their government is not working the way they want to, they need to vote. Instead of running over here to the United States, looking for a handout, taking away food and necessity and resources from the people here in the United States who are here legally, who need those resources, but who are not getting them because we're giving charity to them. My thing with charity is it starts at home and then you spread it abroad. Once you take care of your citizens, you get your citizens taken care of. You get your citizens fed, clothed, with proper shelter, proper medical attention, proper education. When you get your citizens off the streets of the United States and into some type of home, residencies or whatever, when you get your citizens off the streets, then you can bring in immigrants, then you can bring in other society, then you can spread whatever assets or wealth that you have left over. You can help others. That's my only point. And neither one of those candidates are speaking along that line as far as immigrants, as far as the homelessness, as far as veterans being homeless. Neither one of them are speaking about the veterans here. It's middle class, this is taxes, this is this. It's the things that's not really causing, those people are not suffering. The middle class are not suffering. They can send their kids to college. They can pay their taxes. They can put food on their table. We're talking about those who are making less than $40,000 a year. Those are the ones who's suffering here in the United States. That's where the suffering is, borderline across all states here in the United States. Those are the ones who are suffering. The 30,000 and less. Those are the ones who paying the burden of the United States because they are the poorest. Trust me and believe me, there are more poor people than there are rich and middle class. They are the ones who are causing the burden here in the United States. They're the ones who cause inflation, especially when food prices, because most of them are on welfare. So the stores know that most of their clientele are welfare recipients, so they raise their prices. They raise their prices because they know those individuals are using government funding to make those purchases. So that's why they jack up the prices. Let's keep it real. Those are greedy individuals out here in the world. The store owners, the Walmarts, the Menards, the Marianas, all these other food stores are just jacking up their prices. That's why they're jacking up their prices, because they know most of their clientele can't afford the prices anyway. Most of the clientele that they have that come in them stores are using EBT, their own welfare, they're on some type of government assistance, so those store owners raise up their prices. They raise up their prices and give you other shenanigans of why the prices are being raised up. They blame it on war or this type of shenanigans that's going all across the world. That's BS and that's bullshit. We have greedy people here running this country. We have greedy individuals running these companies. They want to gain all the money. They don't want to pay their workers top wages, but they want taxes for giving employees jobs. They want tax cut for being a pillar of the community. But they don't want to pay the workers a fair compensation. You know, you have CEOs walking around here making $11 million a year. For example, my CEO, the CEO of UPS, brings home an annual salary of $11.5 million a year. That's one individual. $11.5 million for annual salary. Make that make sense. It's like the rich want to get richer and the poor steady getting poor. And the poor are the ones who keeping the country afloat. They're the ones who have to pay all these exceeding bills. They're the ones who have to pay all these fines and fees for various infractions, and they can't afford to do it. So their bill constantly, they constantly got a bill. They constantly got a payment plan. They're constantly in debt. They're never out of debt. They're constantly, cycle of rotation is going on. And neither one of those presidents are trying to correct the problems and issues in the United States. They're trying to stick with those individuals who have the money and the power, who can get them elected. That's who they're trying to keep in office. That's who they're trying to get. That's who they're trying to sympathize with, patronize it, put a pacifier in their mouth. They're the ones who they're trying to keep happy. You know, Kamala Harris, she's been talking about the middle class, the middle class, the middle class, the middle class. Because she knows those middle class voters will have enough funding and support to help get her elected. When did becoming a president become about money and not about the will and vote of the people? When did money become an issue? When who has the most money become president? When did that come about? I thought your vote is what got you elected. Not how much money you get funded. Because you get the wrong funding and you're a puppet president. You're making promises that you can't deliver. And both of them are making promises that the Senate, the Congress is sitting by and listening to both of them. And they know damn good well that what they're asking and what they're promising the American people, they're not going to vote yes for that. So you got both these candidates capping, which is what I said, stop the capping. Talking about what they're going to do if they become president of the United States. They're making promises that their ass can't cash. They're making checks and promises to the American people, if they're elected president, that their votes in the Senate and the Congress probably not going to even get passed. They're just out here making votes, making statements, making comments, making promises that they probably can't deliver on. And which happens in most presidential races. Both sides, Republican and Democrat, promise the people, once they get elected, what they're going to do. And 9 out of 10, it doesn't get done. It's basically wishful thinking. But it never gets done. 1 year is about crime. One election is about getting rid of drugs, but you're allowing the drugs to come in. Now it's a war on drugs, but you're allowing the drugs to come in. Your Border Patrol, your Customs, they're the ones who are allowing this stuff and shenanigans to go on. But yet now, once you become elected president, now you want to go out and have a war on things. Foolishness. And the other countries try to duplicate and follow our government style, our government way of doing things like it's the correct way. And it's full of shenanigans, lies, mistrust, greed. And I think the IRS is the biggest criminal on the planet Earth. Our IRS system is the biggest criminal on Earth. And they use the so-called law to enforce this criminality. The IRS is the biggest criminal and thief here in the United States. Most definitely. Okay, I just lost a little lighting here. Let's see if I can get it back. Ta-da! Put some light back on this. So that's what we got going on here in the United States. You either team Kamala Harris or you team Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump campaign is about Make America Great Again. My thing to the world and to the United States and those who are watching this video, when was America ever great? When was America ever great? When was America ever great? There was a time when we had less crime. There was a time when we didn't have a lot of division that we have now here in our country. There was a time when we didn't have all these immigrants here in this country. So are those the time that America was great? Because we always had African Americans here. between the Native Americans, Caucasians, and African Americans, and a few Chinese, we've always been here. So when was America ever great? That's Donald Trump's campaign. It's about making America great. And Kamala Harris is about building the middle class. She ain't say nothing about the homeless people, about the citizens of the United States who are sleeping on the streets. She ain't say nothing about those individuals, those people. It's the middle class, those that got money. I want to make that make sense. Make that make sense. You're going to support and put in office somebody who already has money. You're going to support someone who already has money. But those who don't have it, those who live on the streets, homelessness, you ain't said nothing about what you're going to do for them. And I'm talking about across the United States. What about those individuals? What about those people who need help? But you done spent over $300 million on immigrants just here in the city of Chicago. Just here in the city of Chicago. More than $300 million have been gone to support immigrants coming to the country illegally. And the one thing about the United States, they always want to punish somebody for their crimes. But the United States does not want to take responsibility for the crimes that they commit against others, especially African Americans. You kidnap thousands of Africans, rape, rob, pillage, beat, did all type of shenanigans to them. But you just signed, okay, you guys are equal. You signed a so-called civil rights bill. Then once you sign it and then you put it into law, then you make other laws to take away. You haven't did right since we've been here. The African American has not been done correctly, has not been properly compensated for the crimes against them since we have signed that Bill of Rights. We have not. But let them tell it. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear about our past. But yet, they don't want to see us in charge. They don't want us in power. They rather let a whole nother group and race of people come in than to try to help those who are already here. Which is why we have a border problem. Those are those who are suffering right now. United States citizens, veterans who are suffering right now in this country, who've actually went to war, and they're living on the streets. You make that make sense. You got a president running for office, and right now he's got a charge. He's got a criminal charge. He's got a criminal indictment of 34 charges against him that he's found guilty. But yet he's out here running for president of the United States. Make that make sense. He gets to run for office where you got men and women serving long sentence right now in prison. But he gets to get out here and run for president. And he already been convicted of a crime. Tell me where that makes sense at. Donald Trump right now is pending sentence for criminal activities being found guilty of. That can lead to some serious jail time. But that's on hold because he's running for president. Make that make sense. I guarantee you, if he was African American, he'd be in jail. I guarantee you, the Caucasian society here in the United States would raise so much Cain, he would be in jail. But since it's Donald Trump, it's okay. No one says anything. But let him lose. Let him lose this election. They're going to send him straight to jail. If Donald Trump loses this election, I think he's going to be convicted and sent straight to jail. This is going to be a first in United States history, that a former president, an electoral president running for office, loses the campaign and gets sentenced. This will be a first in American history. It will be a first. So Donald Trump will go down in history as the first president running for office, loses his bid for presidency, and is then found guilty and sent to prison. Now, a president is usually entitled to Secret Service for the rest of their life. So how does a former president being convicted of a crime go to prison when he has Secret Service for life? Do they go to prison too? See, everything Donald Trump is doing right now in this year is a first. It is a first for everything. New laws have to be created just for Donald Trump's shenanigans. And that's what's going to happen here in the United States. You're going to have a former president run for bid to be a president again, lose his bid for presidency, and go to jail for criminal activities. Only in America. So this is what we're going through right now here in the United States. The polls are still opening in some states. In some states, the polling, the voting has ended. The polls are closed. If you didn't get there, it's over with. I think it's going to be close, which means, as in previous bid that he had, our country is split 50-50. Which means we still got a lot of cleaning up to do in this country. We still have a lot of hidden racism in this country. A 50-50 split in votes means that we still have racism alive and well in this country. If Kamala Harris doesn't win by a landslide, if she wins by 40, 50,000, that means that we still have a divided country. We still have hidden racism within that division. That's all that means right there. That this country still has racism. And it has not changed. So wherever you are watching, hope you pay attention, because this will affect what goes on in the United States for the next 4 years. You'll either have Donald Trump and his shenanigans and foolishness. Hopefully, Kamala Harris will have enough foresight to do some things that Joe Biden didn't do. Hopefully, she'll make some changes that he wasn't able to do. And we'll see what happens. But right now, that is what's going on here today. All across the United States. We are electing a new president-elect for 2025. We still have 2 wars going on. We have Ukraine and Russia still at it. We have Israel, the Hamas, the Gaza Strip still going strong with their shenanigans. And we're about to have an elected president. So it's going to be good to see whoever's in office, what they do moving forward in 2025. Because whoever's elected, they won't be sworn in to be president of the United States until January the 20th of 2025. So that's where we are here in the United States. We're electing a new president. I'm sure many around the world are watching to see We've already had an African American man. No one thought we would have an African American woman become president, let alone be a woman, period. No one could have foreseen that the next president might be an African American woman. So no one ever thought a woman would be president, and I'm sure as hell know for certain that no one thought there would be another African American or another African, period, being able to be elected president here in the United States. But it's about to go down. It's about to happen here in the United States. So I look forward to it happening. I look forward to seeing the changes. No matter which one comes in office, I look forward to see what they're going to do moving forward. Because like I said, I have not seen nothing in the last 40 years of my life being improved in this country. It's just been one shenanigan after one shenanigan, no matter who's in office. It's always a shenanigan going on. From Bill Clinton to the two Bushes to Ronald Reagan to Bill Clinton and even Barack Obama. That's just been 40 years of shenanigans, foolishness, and wars. And this country has been in a decline ever since. So my vote for president is someone who's going to provide free education, free health care. I will remove taxes off all food. No state will be allowed to charge tax on food if I was president. How you going to pursue dreams and happiness if you can't eat, if you can't buy food? How you going to pursue any dreams of happiness, education, whatever, if you can't eat, if you're not allowed to eat because you're being taxed, you're being price gouged? The basic things that you need to live are the things that cost an arm and leg to get. And that's food and water. And that shouldn't be. To put a roof over your head. Now you have to have an arm and a leg and two arms now just to afford the rent, the mortgage, to live. That needs to stop. That's where president needs to be doing something. That's where the government needs to be doing something. Because the state definitely doing too much greed. The states are definitely doing too much greedy, too much grabbing, too much stealing, too much lying. And it's not just here in Chicago, it's all over. Greed in this country is at an all-time high. Prices are steady going up, but the portions are steady going down. Make that make sense. This is the foolishness and shenanigans that we got going on here in the United States, and the other countries are trying to follow the same blueprint. Just because we're doing it, don't make it a good policy. Just because we're doing it, don't make it right. Just because we're doing it, don't make it look like it's going to do good for your country too. People need to stop trying to follow the United States foolishness. Thinking, okay, America do it. Not everyone's happy with what what's been done here in the United States. I'm definitely not happy with it. I'm just one of many who just got to follow along with it. Who just got to take the shenanigans that's going on. We're all going to leave this world. Point blank and period. We might not leave all together, but we all going to leave this world. You can bet your last dollar. So you can lie, steal, cheat, do all the shenanigans. You gonna answer for it. Just remember, you gonna leave here too. You are gonna leave here too. So I don't know why people keep on doing the shenanigans that they got going on in this country thinking they're going to live forever by the dollar. You're not taking it with you. Trying to amass all the greed, make all the money, you can't take it with you. I'm not trying to be greedy. I just want enough to live comfortably where I don't have to go out here and break laws or not have to do any type of illegal activity. I don't want to be a thief. I don't want to have to steal. I don't want to have to murder. I don't want to have to kill anyone to make ends meet. I don't want to be that type of person. I want to be happy to live and pursue my dreams without stealing from the next man to get it. The kids that I brought in this world, I want them to do the same thing. I don't want my kids that I bring into this world to have to go out here and steal, rob, and take from others to make ends meet for themselves. I want them to be successful until it's time for them to go. And that's what we all should want. Not to swallow up and take all the wealth of the world. We can't take it with us. But that's another story. But right now, the story and issue today is that we're electing a new president. Many of the polls in the states, here in the United States, are closing up soon. So by midnight, there around, at least by in the morning, we'll have almost a clear count. I'm sure there'll be some straggling states here and there. But by the end of the week, we'll know who's going to be the next president of the United States. It's either going to be Kamala Harris, a female, or Donald Trump, a former president. But one thing's for certain, two things for sure. We will have a new president by Friday. I think by Friday, all the votes, I'm sure by Monday, all the votes should be counted, tallied. And someone will be celebrating. And someone will be screaming and hollering, I've been cheated. Someone will be happy. Someone's going to be sad. But we will be electing a new president by the end of the week. So that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're voting, if you did vote, I hope your vote was used wisely. I hope the candidate that you hope to be the next president, I hope that's what your vote gets you. If it didn't get that, if that person, excuse me, if that person that you elected is unsuccessful, I hope that you can bear the defeat and pull together and work beside the president that is elected. Because it doesn't matter at the end of the day, if we don't unite as citizens and we stay shenanigan, we keep on dividing ourselves, it'll just be 4 more years of nonsense and foolishness. It'll be 4 more years of us being on one side and the other being on the other side. There'll be no cohesiveness. And we'll still have the same issues that we're dealing with right now. We'll carry those same issues 4 years from now on to the next election. So with that being said, I'm going to end my video for tonight. Like I said, we are electing a new president here in the United States. The office will be full. January the 20th, 2025, we will have a new president. It either will be Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. So stay tuned. I'm your host, and thank you for watching another episode of Stop the Cap. Good night. Peace.